Hounded by debt collectors with phone calls and letters? Thinking of calling a debt relief company? Don't. Greedy lawyers and debt companies charge thousands. Why pay when you can get their solution absolutely free with New York Times best-selling author Herb K's #1 debt secret, the how-to on stopping the calls without paying the debt companies. Yes, free for a very limited time. Here's Herb K.
Don't get ripped off by credit repair companies when I can give you the information you need to do it yourself for free.
Herb K was right. His free information helped me stop the calls and settle my debt.
What have you got to lose? Stop the calls now, get out of debt, and have more money. Get Herb K's #1 debt secret absolutely free now. Call 888-352-7726. That's 888-352-7726. 888-352-7726.
He's going the distance.
Max Keiser will be with us 5 minutes into the next hour. MaxKeiser.com is his website. A lot of great information there. You can also watch his TV show. He's got it linked up there. We are taking your phone calls now. It's simple. Either the big central banks go or we go. They openly say they're setting up world government. They're going to run our lives, cut off our resources. It's a total nightmare. And I'm just here covering it, and I've got every major newspaper and government operation demonizing the hell out of me right now because we are effective, and they know that we know they're criminals. And coming up next hour, I'm going to get into all the news that I haven't even covered yet. It's just unspeakably insane. Let's go to Melissa in Mass. You're on with Max Keiser. Go ahead.
Hi, Alex. Hi, Max. Thank you so much for taking my call. I have two really quick things to know. I used to work at TD Bank. I worked there for 4 years. And one thing is that they utilize a website blocker that's intended to be used for employees so they don't look at sexually vulgar or sexually explicit websites. They block both InfoWars and Prison Planet and list it for militant behavior. So I thought that was interesting. I thought that you should know that. Second thing, this new overdraft fee revenue law that's going into effect July 1st, is there a bottom line there that we're not seeing? I know how important overdraft fees are to the big banks.
Yeah, this is a question that I'd throw in for Max. They're announcing that they may not insure your money markets. They're announcing they may keep your money for 7 days. They're openly talking about dollar devaluations. They're openly saying they may take people's pension funds and the government will then give you part of it back. Max Keiser.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is just every week we get more information that's pointing in the same direction, isn't it? The banks, they're out of money. They don't have any money. They want your money. They're setting it up now so that they can make it easy to freeze your account. You don't have access to your account or whatever. I mean, they're broke. They're sitting on hundreds and billions of losses that they have not yet disclosed. There's another second leg to the crisis in play right now. Then there's another huge gap down in real estate.
But they're saying they're going to use the crisis to have a constitution of the world where we pay our taxes to the banks.
They consider any deposit in any bank, they consider it to be their money. Let's just say that.
And they think Northcom, just like they're doing in Greece, will allow them to take everybody's money.
Right, and they're using this propaganda model that we're God and we need to fight the bad guys, and if you resist, you're a scapegoat. You know, talk about Citibank. Citibank last week, it was disclosed that this group, it's a new group called Fabulous. It serves the gay community. The Citigroup said, we don't like your material, we're going to freeze your account. So here they're scapegoating the gay community. When did we see that last? Oh, the 1930s in Nazi Germany.
And again, they pick a group they think's unpopular with most people to set the precedent. Like, oh, we're just going to secretly arrest Americans that are Muslims, and now they've got a bill for everybody.
It's classic scapegoating, 101, scapegoating 101.
Thank you, Melissa. Pastor in Ohio, you're on the air.
Let me just add something to that. You remember in America we had the Jim Crow laws, which were discriminatory laws.
Yes.
And some people could only use this. If the coloreds-only bathroom, right? Coloreds-only sections in the restaurant. Sit at the back of the bus. Well, the same thing is being applied to interest rates. If you're Goldman, you get to borrow money at 1% and get a free rate of return at 17%. if you're everybody else, you have to borrow money at 17%, and the most you'll ever get on that is 1% on your money.
Well, that's
so
like the EU.
It's a Jim Crow law using interest rates. They're discriminating against anyone who's not a Goldman Sachs employee. Get at the back of the bus and shut up.
Well, in the EU, the bureaucrats have a 17% income tax, and everybody else has a 50%. And it's the same thing expanding on every level. Now they have these Homeland Security no-fly lists. It'll be no work list, and they just magically put whoever they want on it with no evidence. I mean, it's just a... But don't worry, we'll arrest some college students that threw some cotton balls out on the ground. That means black people pick cotton. We'll arrest them for terrorism, but then we'll abort 52% of the black people. Max Keiser, stay there. Let's jam in a few calls in the next 5 minutes. Back in 70 seconds.
Thank you for listening to GCN. Visit GCNlive.com today.
This is Alex Jones, and I want to tell you about the Ecola Blue atmospheric water generator that produces pure drinking water right from the humidity in the air. No, this isn't science fiction. It's very real. I know because I use one every day in my own home, and it's available right now to you. Because you know exactly where your water comes from with Ecola Blue, you'll know what's in your cup. Clean, great-tasting water without all the pollutants. Get your family off the grid today by ordering your own Ecola Blue atmospheric water generator for your home or business. Their best seller, the Ecola Blue 28, produces up to 7 gallons of water every day. The Ecola Blue 28 is easy to use and economical. Generate your own pure water from the humidity in the air. This system is free of chemicals and uses a multi-stage filtration system, including reverse osmosis, carbon filters, and ultraviolet lights. Order now and claim your water independence today by calling Ecola Blue at 1-800-691-6043. That's 1-800-691-6043. Or visit Ecola Blue on the web at www.ecoloblu.com today.
Waging war on corruption. Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
All right, we're into the final hour. I'm not going to take any more calls until the very end of the show if I have time, because I got a lot of news and information that must be covered. Max Keiser's our guest. Let's go to Pastor in Ohio. Quickly, go ahead. You're on the air.
Yeah, Alex, I've talked to you before, and I wanted to share something with you and Max. You know, one thing that I noticed, every time you guys come on, I mean, it's fantastic. You guys have the news right up front, and I want to thank you for that, because you allow us to share that with other people, and I do that with my congregation.
Well, we're all in this together, buddy.
Yes, sir, we are. And I'll tell you what, you know, one thing I noticed... I noticed the different things that you're saying. Trust me, Alex, you are not alone. Even though you may not hear and know of the people that are standing with you, you guys that are getting the news out there to us, because you guys have the resources and we don't.
Well, Pastor, let me be clear. I know the world's on fire with people waking up. Max knows that. I just can't believe people aren't even waking up faster, because it's so outrageous. But I appreciate your call. I mean, Max... You see the huge awakening, don't you?
Well, I'm curious to see exactly how the huge awakening will happen, and what form it'll take. Because, you know, in the 60s we had a huge awakening, and it took the form of a musical revolution and a social revolution, and then basically society went back to sleep. You know, here's something very interesting. I see in Berkeley, California, the students now are protesting against these rise in rates, which, of course, is great that they're protesting that. But where were the students 2 years ago when they were all supporting the Iraq war invasion, and they were all tattletaling on their professors who were against the Iraq war invasion? Remember that 2 or 3 years ago when professors said we're against the... Well, all the money that was spent in Iraq, they don't have any money for education. Now they're protesting because they don't have money for education. Well, tough luck. You should have been against the Iraq war 2 or 3 years ago, and now you'd have money for education.
Let's talk to Petunia in Texas. Petunia, you're on the air with Max Keiser.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for taking the call. Just very quickly, I think that one of the things that we need to do is to bring a third party like the Constitution Party of Texas. We're trying to get ballot access right now, and it's not easy. You know, the two big parties, the Republicans and the Democrats, have a little monopoly going on. And we need to
Well, the public better get out there and realize that we do need to take our states back. against this takeover, and it needs to be done now. Do you have a question for Max Keiser?
Well,
You don't? I appreciate your
mean,
call. I got to let you go, okay? I told you. These are calls for Max Keiser. You can call back another time on that. Mike in Louisiana.